going to ask this next question because it's something that I've had to do a few times through certain crises in my own life. Sometimes we do come to a point where we can lose everything. And it can be a sense of loss of our reputation, loss of our network, or even our success. The question is, how do you rebuild your mastery from scratch? Because there was this whole domain that you had, and then you don't have access to it. Poorani and I were in a situation where we left an organization, and because of a non-compete, that whole domain shut down, and we had to relearn. And that was great because we got into systems awareness. But that 5 years was a lonely, exiled journey in the forest. So I think with the kind of change that people are experiencing in life, with the disruption that we see when jobs are not there anymore and you have to reinvent yourself, how do you do that? Even if it is not to the level of mastery, just to learn, get back.
I do have experience from my personal career path that I can relate to what you're saying, and not the same circumstances. Ramesh, a couple of times, either back in the early 90s, I had to leave a job that I actually quite liked. And not because of anything I'd done, but because the circumstances just made it impossible to stay. So I had to reinvent myself, and I did. And then a couple of times when I was running my business, you build it up, and then, my goodness, my company was on the verge of a real big, explosive level of growth. And then 11 happened in the United States. And a lot of contracts got canceled overnight. I still had the company when it was all over, but I had no clients and no capital. I had to start over again. Even something as really rather pedantic, that's not bureaucratically troubling, as the GDPR law in Europe, which forced me to delete my entire mailing list from my newsletter because it wasn't compliant. When those moments happen, and I think they happen to us in larger or smaller scales, you had a pretty large scale experience yourselves. That's when everything I've been saying about personal mastery not being just personal becomes very important, because you don't get back to something that you can call a meaningful path of work by yourself. Even if you're a sole contractor, if you're flying your flag and you're a consultant, you're not a consultant if you don't have clients. And you don't get clients if you don't have friends. And you don't have friends if you're not trustworthy. And you're not trustworthy if you don't know yourself. I mean, all of this kind of leads back to the more fundamental aspects of personal mastery that we're talking about.